What's going on? How you doing? My name's David the Crook, and today I'm going to show you how to mix R&B and pop style vocals. But before we get in the video, I'll remind you to hit the subscribe button, also hit the like button. So I have a song here, it's called That Ain't You. It's by the official Izzy. The song's already out, so I'll put the link in the description to the song so you can check it out. It's a really good song. When it comes to R&B type vocals, there's a couple things you want to look for. It's kind of like just how the vocals sound in general. Now this beat is a little slower, so it's more like singing than anything. Well, I mean, it's R&B or pop, whatever you want to call it. Just the basics of it. You want smooth, crispy vocals. You want some reverb that's big, wide open, and you just want like a good delay, not too much delay, but just a good amount to carry the vocals and just keep everything going. So I'm gonna play just like the beginning, I guess the intro, hook, whatever you want to call it.
I need something real bad, thought you knew the deal. I can play these games now, that ain't in my skill set. I've been in the field, but that don't mean I got my feel set. Yeah, I know things change, why you change it ain't the same. Same change in my same ring, I can't switch up on my game. Been the same, I ain't been the same. Juiced up, no minute made. Money bring out the real you, but the real me never get the fame. I just hope my money came in the touchdown like Green Bay. Step back, no D-way, never see it clearly. Every time I tell you how I feel, you just act like you don't hear me. Clearly, I hear me.
So that's pretty much the basics of the song. Like I said, the song's out. Check it out. It's a link in the description. So when it comes to mixing pop, R&B type vocals, something you want to do is just make sure the vocals are dynamic. A cool way to do that is, or the hardest way to do it, honestly, is just to go in, like the vocals like this, really zoom in, and then, for example, here at the end, what you'll do is like you'll grab this part, you'll bring it up like that, and then you'll bring this back to 0, back to even it out, and you'll just go through the whole thing, like little by little. Every little dot you're gonna pretty much add, and it's just gonna, in certain parts you're gonna bring up the volume of the dynamics, and other parts you're gonna bring it down. It's up to you however you want to do it, but the quickest and the easiest method to do it is just to use a plugin. Now you can either use a plugin like Vocal Writer by Waves, or you can use Outlaw by VA Production. Now what this is going to do, it's going to automate the volume. So like pretty much towards the end, it's going to grab the tail end of the vocal and it's going to bring it up, so it just pretty much keeps everything consistent. And when it comes to like compressors and stuff like that, they don't overwork. Let's say the artist is doing its thing, is going, and then like it gets too close and it says something like very loud, so the compressor is going to squish that, right? So it takes out the dynamics of the vocals, so there's no point, you know. I mean, well, I guess there is a point the compressor is doing its thing, but it kind of just ruins everything. It squishes everything. So I like using Outlaw because what it's going to do is just going to pick up and it's going to automate everything. It's not going to really squish things, and it's not noticeable, but it's there. One thing I like saying about mixing is there's not this one thing that does everything for you. Like there's not this one plugin or this one strategy or technique that like you have to do this because this is going to make your mixing like better, you know. Like no, like I think when it comes to mixing, it's just a bunch of little things that you do that overall creates a good mix, you know. So like this plugin's gonna do like 5%, the next plugin's gonna do like 10%, and then another plugin's gonna do like another 5%, one plugin's gonna probably do like 2%, whatever, and you just add and you just pretty much just stack all these little different things. That's just gonna overall make the vocals sound good. And at the end of the day, if the vocals sound good, they sound good. Like yeah, you can mix vocals with one plugin. I have a video about how to mix vocals with one plugin. You're limited to so much that plugin can do, so you might as well take advantage of plugins like this or Vocal Writer that pretty much automate everything, and it's gonna make your life easier, you know. So I have the mix at 50%, and the reason I keep it at 50 is because if I put it at 100, it just sounds too robotic. Like it takes the life out of the vocals just because it's automating everything so much. So to me, I'm like, well, 50% should just be the raw vocals, right? The dynamics have everything up. Like when there is a peak, you keep the peak in there, but then you have the 50% of the Outlaw of the automation. So it just creates this dope blend of automated vocals and raw vocals. So it just sounds good. It doesn't sound too robotic, but there is that control in the voice, you know. So I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna do like an A/B test so you can really hear what it does. It's not that noticeable, but you will hear like a change in volume.
I need something real bad, thought you knew the deal. I can play these games now, that ain't in my skill set. I've been in.
So for example, like here it say, in my skill set, And instead of saying skill set and just dying down, it brought it up, you know. So skill set, and it just keeps everything consistent, keeps everything nice and level. Now this is without it.
I need something real bad. Thought you knew the deal. I can play these games now. That ain't in my skill set. I've been in the field, but that don't mean I got my feel.
And like I said, I keep the mix at 100. The target's at 24. The gate's at 48. The gain's at 0. Now, if you use this plugin, you can really go in and like put high pass filters, low pass filters, the type of slope, attack, release, the makeup gain, whatever you want to do. But I just leave it like this. I put the mix at 50, target 24, gate 48, and then the gain at 0. That's what I found works the best for me. Now, if you pick up this plugin, find out what works best for you. You know, everybody's different. This is pretty much going to automate the vocals. And like I said, pop R&B vocals. You want everything nice, smooth, and just consistent for the most part. I'm not saying it has to be like straight. Like obviously you want dynamics in your vocals because it's going to make a huge difference. You know, so I'm gonna add a compressor, and one of my compressors that I love using is by Waves, the R compressor. But I also recently picked up RVox, and I started using RVox a little bit more just because it brings a nice high end to the vocals, but it doesn't overdo it. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna keep the gate at, what is it, infinity? I don't think it's on, and I'm just gonna do like a simple 2-3 dB compression. I don't want to overdo it. It's just gonna bring up it's gonna compress the vocals a little bit, and it's gonna bring up the volume even more.
I need something real bad. Thought you knew the deal. I can play these games now. That ain't in my skill set. I've been in the field, but that don't mean I got my feel set. I need something real bad. Thought you knew the deal. I can play these.
So as you can see, that little red thing is just coming down, and that's pretty much the compression. It's just getting those peaks. You could use just one compressor to do everything. Like for example, you could just go compressor, dynamics, or dynamics compressor. And if you use Logic, these compressors are dope. By the way, these two are my favorite. I love using this. Anyways, I could just use one compressor and just put the ratio at like 8. You know, put the threshold, probably get about 5-6 dBs of compression, and then that's it. Like I don't have to use any more compressors, right? Because it's already compressing it friggin' 8 dBs. But instead of doing that, I like using multiple compressors. So I'll be using like 3-4 compressors, and I just do like a simple like 2 dB here, 3 dB here, 1.5 dB here. You know, like it's all different. Like instead of using one compressor to squish everything, I just use multiple compressions, and it's all gonna do pretty much the same thing. But you know, like for example, like this is gonna add a different color. So I stack up like 3-4 compressors with different colors. It's gonna give your vocals like a unique sound, like a unique style, something that people probably heard but probably aren't used to, because you know some people just use one compressor. Now what this does is, the next plugin I'm gonna use is a channel strip. So this pretty much does everything. Like it has filters, dynamics, and well, like EQs, and then put the analog on just to add that color. It has a gate. Now I'm just gonna go through it, and then I'm gonna explain what I do after. So
these games now, that ain't in my skill set. I've been in the field, but that don't mean I got my feel set. Yeah, I know things change. Why you change it ain't the same. Same changing my same ring. I can't switch up on my gang. Been the same, I ain't been the same. Juiced up, no minute made. Money bring out the real you, but the real me never get the fame. I just hope my money came in a touchdown like Green Bay. Take a step back, no D-way. Now I see it clearly. Every time I tell you how I feel, you just act like you don't hear me clearly. Ideally, feel for you, just for you, but don't be acting hella bougie, that ain't you.
So pretty much what I did is I cut 140 because you don't want that bass in the voice, especially when it comes to like R&B and pop vocals. If it was rap, then yeah, add the bass to the vocals to the song. You know, like it sounds dope on rap. But when it comes to R&B and vocal, you just want something nice, something smooth, some nice high end. I boosted the 16K about 5 dBs. I added another compressor, 2 dB, and as you can tell, when this lights up, it does a 3 dB gain reduction. But I don't want to squish the vocals, so it's just subtly there, and it's just compressing those peaks just a little bit. You know, like pretty much just controlling it. Like there's sometimes a word doesn't have to be compressed. You know, like you just want to compress those like big words, like for example like this, like where it's bigger than most, you know, words he's saying. Then you know, compress it a little bit, but don't overdo it either.
I see it clearly. Every time I tell you how I feel, you just act like you don't hear me clearly. Ideally, feel for you, just for you, but don't be
you know, like you just want that little subtle compression. You don't want to overdo it either, you know. Second thing I'm gonna add when it comes to mixing R&B vocals is just smooth out the vocals just a little bit, add a nice high end. I will be adding another EQ, and this EQ is a Pultec. It emulates Pultec, so like what's this, there's like emulates like a, I don't know, like 20, 15, I don't know how much $1,000 the Pultec costs, but I mean I picked it up for 29 bucks by Waves, and it does, like, from what I heard, it sounds exactly the same. So why the hell am I gonna spend, you know, 50, 20,000 on the hardware when I can just emulate it? You know, like maybe in the future I'll probably pick one up, but for now, no. And if you're using Logic, it's right here for free. You know, like Logic literally gives you one. Now I've done, like, I pretty much set up the same exact numbers on both of them, and I did like test them out which one sounds better, and the Waves one does sound better, but I mean, you still have it for free here. I was using this one for like almost a year or something like that, and it worked perfect for me. You know, like I picked up this one because it was on sale for like 29 bucks, you know. So why wouldn't I? You know, I just picked it up. Now I'm gonna show you this cool trick, and I'm gonna boost up 100 hertz, and it's kind of like, well, why the hell are you gonna boost up 100 hertz when just a while ago you cut 140? You know, like the frequencies are not even there. Yeah, they might not be there, but they're there, if that makes sense. Now I'm gonna overdo it so you can really hear what it does. It's gonna make the vocal sound a little fuller, but if you're gonna use this trick, don't overdo it, just because it will make your vocal sound muddy in the long run. So I'm gonna overdo it just to show you how it's gonna sound, but then I'm gonna bring it back, probably do like 1.5 boost.
acting hella bougie, that ain't you. I know that you're used to doing things just by yourself. Used to being by yourself. You.
Now I'm gonna boost up this 12K, and I boosted up 15 or 16K on the SSL. I'm gonna boost up 12K, and then I'm gonna use this a tant. And what it's gonna do with this, I don't know exactly like 100, like I can't tell you, like you can probably look it up what it actually does, but the cool trick about it, it kind of lowers those frequencies, especially at 20K. But because I'm boosting 12K, the slope of the Pultec from the boost is different from the tant, so it kind of just does this blend where that boosted frequencies still sound good, and there's not that harshness in it. So like, for example, like at 12K you're gonna hear a lot of S's, but when I add this a tant, it's gonna just lower them down just a little bit, and it does this dope blend. So you should try it out.
You ain't had no one to help you get through. Yes, it's new.
See how like it still sounds the same. You still hear that crispiness in the vocals, but it's not too much, as it feels like
I'm here just for you. Put the team on my back, but you could cry,
you know what I
on
mean?
my
Like
shoulder.
it kind of just counteracts each other, but due to the different slopes, the boosted is still more dominant than the tant. I don't even know if that's how you say it. ATTN. I don't know.
Shoulder to my left shawty kid right, she acting like she kicking boulders. I told her. Yeah, I told her. Yeah, I told her. Yeah, I told her. Yeah, I told her.
So, and that's pretty much it. Like, I'm just gonna boost that 12K, put this 10 on it, just kind of counterbalance, but it still sounds dope. You know what I mean? I'm gonna add. This plugin's pretty dope. A lot of my plugins are from Waves just because they're very affordable. They have like some dope styles. Like pretty much all these plugins that I've picked up, they were on sale. F6, and what this is gonna do is like an EQ compressor type of thing, and I'm just gonna emulate what I did on the EQs for the most part, just a little bit different. So I'll show you what I do after.
I need something real bad. I thought you knew the deal. I can play these games now, that ain't in my skill set. I've been in the field, but that don't mean I got my feel set. Yeah, I know things change, why you change it ain't the same. Same changing my same ring, I can't switch up on my gang. Been the same, I ain't been the same. Used up, no minute made. Money bring out the real you, but the real me.
So as you can tell, when it's playing, that 3 is just coming to do like this pumping effect, like it's going up and down, up and down. And what that's pretty much doing, like a normal EQ would cut those frequencies out and then you wouldn't hear them. So like it kind of thins out your vocals. So what this does, it's more like an EQ compressor hybrid type of thing. I don't really know what to call it, but the frequencies are still there, but when it goes past that threshold, it brings it down. So it just like pumps it, so it makes the vocals sound nice. It doesn't overdo it either, and you could do it with like the high end too. So I'll overdo it now. Just mess with the Q. Probably just once those high end comes in.
I need something real bad. Thought you knew the deal. I can play these games now. That ain't in my skill set. I've been in the field, but that don't mean I got my feel set. Yeah, I know things change. Why you change it ain't the same. Same change in my same ring. I can't switch up on my gang. Been the same.
So as you can tell, it boosts it up. So you could go both ways. You could either cut the frequencies or you could boost them. So it kind of adds this dope balance of boosting certain frequencies. So like in certain words, it might go up more than in other words. So it just adds another layer of dynamics, but it also does like this cool compression on certain frequencies. So I like using this on vocals. It sounds dope on pianos too, some on guitars also. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna keep it on for now, and I'm gonna add another compressor just to like finish it off. It's gonna be the CLA too. Now, like I said, if you don't have these, you could use like just a dynamic compressor. It's gonna do the same thing. Now, I like just doing a full reset, just because when you keep it on, like when you first open up, it's too loud. Make sure you put the analog on off, because you put like 60 or 50, it kind of adds like a hits to the vocals. It doesn't really sound that good unless that's what you're going for, but I would probably just do like if I had it to like some pianos or something like that, so, you know, something dope, not on some vocals, because it's kind of ruin it. Now I'm gonna do like a 1-2 dB compression, and I'm gonna bring up the gain just a little bit, not too much.
I need something real bad. Thought you knew the deal. I can play these games now. That ain't in my skill set. I've been in the field, but that don't mean I got my feel set. Yeah, I know things change. Why you change it ain't the same. Same change in my same ring. I can't switch up on my gang. Been the same, I ain't been the same.
Now that's dope. It's not noticeable, but it is doing some compression. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some pitch correction. It's just some auto tune. This works good. It's a plugin by Logic. I use this. I don't use like auto tune like Antarius, I think that's what it's called. I'll probably pick that up later in the future, but for now, pitch correction works good. I think the song is in the key of B minor, if I'm not mistaken. So when it comes to pop and R&B, you don't want full auto tune. You don't want that T-Pain effect, just because it doesn't go. Like when you think of pop, when you think of R&B, you don't think of like full auto tune. Like you think of that natural voice of a person, of a singer that actually sings good. Like you don't need that all that auto tune. Why? Because the artist already knows how to sing. Like it's not rap. Like if you're doing rap, screw it, add full auto tune. I do it all the time. You know, it sounds good. Like we're used to hearing the auto tune, so you could push it a little bit more. But for the most part, you just want that natural voice. So I'm gonna put it all the way at 0, but then I'm gonna bring it up.
I need something real bad. On me, so forget the fame. I just hope my money came in a touchdown like Green Bay. Take a step back, no D-way. Now I see it clearly. Every time I tell you, but the real me, so forget the fame. I just hope my money came in a touchdown like Green Bay. Take a step back, no D-way. Now I see it clearly.
Now that sounds dope. It's still that natural voice, and that's what you're going for. Something that's gonna impact the listener. Something where you're like, damn, this sounds really good. It's not over processed. It's not over compressed. It just doesn't sound weird. Like it sounds nice. It sounds good. And that's what I'm trying to show you. Like, honestly, there's no one way of mixing. Like, just do what sounds good to you. Now, this is the way I do it, and I just want to show it to you. Now, after this, I'm just going to add a de-esser. And I'm going to use Sibilance by Waves. And you could just use like a regular de-esser. I know Logic just recently did an update and they added a de-esser. The Waves one does a little bit more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna
I can't switch up on my gang. Been the same, I ain't been the same. Juiced up, no minute made. Money bring out the real you, but the real me.
And if you put monitor, it just kind of shows you what it's bringing down.
Act like you don't hear me clearly, ideally. Feel for you, just for you, but don't be acting hella bougie, that ain't you. I know that you're used to doing things.
Now, and that's pretty much it. Well, on my vocal chain. Now, I'm just going to add this one last plugin by Waves. It's the S1 Imager, and what this is going to do is going to spread out the vocals. Now I'm just going to add it to 15 just because I feel like 15 always works good, especially because you want to kind of spread out that vocals. You don't want it too in the center. You just want to create something like atmospheric, like something, well, not atmospheric, but something just wide. Like you don't want it dead in the center. And if you push it more than 15, you're gonna introduce phasing. So I like pushing it right at that line where it's like 0, but it's like right there, probably just a little bit more over, just to pretty much widen it up to the extent. Now if you don't have that plugin, you could use imaging, studio spread, Logic. Like I said, Logic has every plugin. Put this at 0, probably put this at 500, just because you don't want anything below 500 to spread. So whatever, like 5, bring this down. I wouldn't put it more than 20, probably 25 be like the max. Like, okay, don't push it after this, but you could try. If it works for you, it works for you. And it's gonna do the same thing as this plugin. You don't need like third-party plugins. You can do everything I'm doing with like free plugins, stock plugins, third-party plugins from like other companies. Like, if you know what you're doing and you know how to work these plugins, you're gonna get some good results. And that's what I'm trying to show you. That's pretty much it. Now I'm gonna add like these plugins here, and what this is gonna do, like, this is a preamp. This is one of my favorite preamps. What this is gonna do is gonna make the vocals sound a lot fuller. Like, they're not gonna be too thin. They're not gonna be like lost. Like, they're just gonna be present. They're gonna be right in front. So when the listener hears it, they'll be like, damn, this sounds dope.
I can't switch up on my gang. Been the same, I ain't been the same. Juiced up, no minute made. Money bring out the real you, but the real me, say forget the fame. I just hope my money came in a touchdown like Green Bay. Take a step back, no D-way. Now I see it clearly.
And that's pretty much it. Like, I could overdo it, but then it's gonna like introduce, like, add saturation. I mean, it's a preamp, so it's gonna add some sort of saturation and other harmonics in the frequency. So I put the heat up. This is dope. If you don't have this, you could just go distortion, use distortion 2, overdrive. If you don't have these stop tubes, they have saturation knob for free. Check it out on their website, and you pretty much do the same thing. Like, you could bust it, turn this knob all the way on, and just pretty much bust it like the way I did it, or you could throw it on there and then just mess with the knob. That's dope too. I used to use saturation knob all the time on my vocals. It works just as good as little radiator. I just like this one better because I like it. I'm gonna add a delay. Now when it comes to like pop and R&B vocals, you don't want to add too much delay, just because it's not that style. Like, you don't, if I was mixing like Polo G, or if I was doing some rap, yeah, I'm gonna add hella delay, because it, when they do like and then you want that to delay. But for R&B, for vocal, for these type of songs, it's more smooth, it's more calm. You want to sidechain it. And to sidechain it, you just pretty much put the delay. I'm using H delay, ping pong host, put the feedback at 45, high pass 300. Put the analog, if you're using H delay, please put the analog on 0, just because if you add it at 4, it's gonna add like this weird like noise to it, and it's just like very noticeable. So just put it at 0. Unless you like it, I guess, use it. I'm gonna put, you could use any compressor. I use our compressor, sidechain it, bus 2, because that's where my vocals are. I put the attack fast just because I want everything to be squished, like squish, 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 squish. And then when there's like a pause, you want a quick release. So it just kind of like releases it, and then the delay comes in. And it kind of just delays those like last word, 2 words. I also added mods, I guess we'll call it. And what this does, it just moves everything left and right. So it's going to grab the signal of the delay and just move it left and right. Now, if you don't have this, you can just pan it and then just automate it. Just go back in here and just pan everything left and right. And this is gonna take too much time, so I just use a plugin. I'm gonna overdo it so you can really hear how the delay sounds with the sidechain, but then I'm just gonna bring it back and I'm gonna hide it behind the vocals where it's not noticeable, but it's there.
I can't switch up on my gang. Been the same, I ain't been the same. Juiced up, no minute made. Money bring out the real you, but the real me, say forget the fame. I just hope my money came in a touchdown like Green Bay. Take a step back, no D-way. Now I see it clearly. Every time I tell you how I feel, you just act like you don't hear me. Clearly, ideally, feel.
So like clearly, ideally, and you just hear it in the background. Clearly, ideally, because there's that little pause, and it's just delaying that vocal, so it just makes it sound like, oh shoot, I didn't hear that. But it's mostly for people with headphones or earbuds, because I mean, the speakers, you're not really gonna hear it. You know what I mean? So like when you're mixing, especially pop and R&B, you want to give the listener like this experience when they're hearing the song where they probably not know what's happening, but for some reason they just like it, and they're just gonna come back to the song more and more and more and more and more. So you just want to give the listener this dope experience. So delay, sidechain it, move it around, or you could just sidechain. I mean, it does ping pong effect automatically within H delay. And then like there's other dope delays, like Logic has some dope delays too. There's delay designer, you can create your own delays. There's echo, there's sample, stereo, tape delay. You could literally freaking create your own delay. I should probably try this someday, but for the most part I'm just gonna use H delay. Now the last thing I'm gonna do is just add some reverb. Now when it comes to R&B and pop, I'm not gonna say you need like a big delay, like this 5-second delay, 5-second reverb, but you don't want to use like a 1-second reverb or a 2-second reverb, just because depending on the beat, I guess is what I'm trying to say, you're gonna choose your delay. Now for this beat, I wanted something big, something wide, something that the vocals carry on, just because maybe like in rap, like if you're doing like that New York style rap, like that old school boom bap, you're gonna use a short delay, just because everything's just coming at you like boom 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 boom, like bar after bar after bar after bar. You're gonna want something short, you know. But for this, because there's spaces, because there's pauses, you want something wide, you want something big to carry that vocal on. And the thing I'm using is a free reverb by Logic. It's a big plate, it's under large spaces. I don't have any of them just because my computer messed up, so I reset everything. I still gotta download some stuff on Logic, but for the most part we're just gonna go with this. I mean, it's still the same delay, so
I can't switch up on my gang. Been the same, I ain't been the same. Juiced up, no minute made. Money bring up.
By the way, if you're doing R&B and pop, look for chambers, look for halls. What else is there? Pretty much, you don't want a room. You want like a church, a hall. What the hell are they called? I know there's like another one. Well, I got rooms here, but you don't really look for like a chamber, like a hall, like a church. Like pretty much those big things that's gonna echo it and just gonna carry out the vocals more. Because pretty much what reverb is when I say something, my vocals go out, it's gonna hit the wall and it's gonna come back. But from the time it leaves my mouth and hits the wall and comes back, that's the delay. So if I'm like in a church or in a chamber, in a hall, and you go ah, you're gonna hear ah, and then it dies down. That's the decay time, and that's where the seconds come in. So I did like a 4-second. And when it comes to R&B and pop, you don't want too much reverb. Nowadays we're used to a lot of reverb, but if you're really going for that smooth pop R&B feel, you don't want to add too much. You just want it to be there to add like this dope space, this dope room, because obviously you don't want dry vocals, so you just want it to be in the song but not too noticeable. So I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit.
I can't bathe, take a step back, no D-way. Now I see it clearly. Every time I tell you how I feel, you just act like you don't hear me clear.
Now I also EQ'd the reverb just because I'm gonna add the beat. I'm gonna add the beat to the reverb, or the reverb to the beat, I guess, whatever you're gonna call it. And I don't want the 808 and stuff to have reverb on it, so I cut it and I did a little cut on the high end. And so it's pretty much everything that's being in the reverb is all this empty stuff, and that's pretty much where the vocals is, where the clap, the hi-hats, and parts of the beat are. So it's gonna sound dope. Now I'm gonna add another reverb, and this is my favorite reverb. Like if you've seen any of my other videos, you know this is my go-to reverb. I love this reverb. Like just the way it sounds amazing. Like it's hard to explain, but when I heard it, I'm like, God damn, this sounds dope. I'm using it on everything, and to this day I still use it. Like I hear this, I'm like, dude, this reverb is dope. I don't know why people don't use it. I hope everybody uses it. I got this for free. And I'm like, what the hell? I got this for free. Now it's like $100. But I think before they released it, they gave this for free. I'm like, man, I'm glad I got this for free. Honestly, this is dope. Like I love this reverb. I put it at a little bit up than 5. I put this MOD on. I cut some of that low, put the wet all the way on. I have some dope presets too. I don't really use them. I just create my own, like decay, and then I just do my own. Honestly, I'm gonna bring it in. I'm gonna overdo it so you can really hear what it does, and I'm just gonna, so you guys can hear how amazing it sounds. Honestly, I'm just gonna overdo it so you can hear how dope it sounds.
I can't switch up on my gang. Been the same, I ain't been the same. Juiced up, no minute made. Money bring out the real you, but the real me is never get the fame. I just hope my money came in a touchdown like Green Bay. Take a step back, no D-way. Now I see it clearly. Don't be acting hella bougie, that ain't you. I know that you're used to doing.
And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I know it sounds dope. It gets me every time. But that's pretty much it. When it comes to like R&B and pop vocals, like I said, you just want something smooth. You want something, no bass in the voice. Depends on the artist too, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, you cut like 130, 140. You can even go up to 160. It all depends on the artist. I don't really go that high anymore. I kind of just keep it back 130, 140, minimum 110. And you just want some nice high end. Now, it all depends on you, how you like how it hears. Like for example, if I was someone else and I were to hear this, I'd be like, damn, you should have added some more high ends. And don't get me wrong, I could add more high ends, but the way I perceive music and the way I hear it, probably just because of the way I grew up, I'm from California, the way I hear music, I'm like, I don't really like that much high end. But if you're somewhere else, you're like, it needs more high end, so you add more high end. It all depends on you. There's no one way of mixing vocals. There's no one way of mixing R&B or pop vocals. Like if you like more high end, then I add more high end. Personally, I'm gonna leave it like this just because I think this sounds good. Like I said, I could add more high end. I think it'll still sound dope. Some delay, but not too delayed. Like I said, if I was doing like Polo G or any rapper like Meek Mill type vocals, I'm gonna add delay because that's their style. But for pop and R&B, you don't really do it. Like I'm gonna add delay to the ad libs, yeah, but not to the vocals itself, except for this little amount of delay that I added plus with the sidechain. And when it comes to reverbs, you want something big, something wide, something spacious, like a hall, like a church, or I swear to God, I know there's another one, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. So let me know if you remember it. And then you don't want something small in the reverb just because it's not going to sound good, especially when it's R&B and pop where they're singing, where you're trying to feel the emotion, you're trying to feel what the artist is saying, and that's what you're trying to emphasize is the artist's voice. So you don't want, when it comes to autotune, you don't want too much autotune because that's going to take the feeling, it's going to take the emotion out of his voice and give it that robotic feeling, and that's what you don't want. You want that vocal to be nice, beautiful sounding, where you're like captivated with the sound and you're like, damn, this sounds dope, you know. And that's what you're going for when you're mixing pop and R&B vocals. You just want something that sounds really good. It's not too squished. There's dynamics in the vocals because it's R&B, they're singing. Sometimes it's going to be higher than other times. Sometimes you're going to be singing and he's going to sing a word and it's going to be louder than some of the other ones. So you don't want to over squish it either. You just want that nice dynamics in it. Like I said, this is how you mix R&B and pop type vocals. Now, if you want your song mixed and mastered by me, feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram or my email. It's down below in the description. Also, I'll put the link to the song in the description so you can check out the full song. The song's really good. And if you want to learn something else, like if you want me to go in depth with a certain plugin or a certain tip or trick or any other style of vocals you want me to mix so you can learn, feel free, leave it in the comment section below. Also, like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.